We would be honored if you would join us.
Greetings, my fellow Blockade runners, and welcome to episode 3. For this episode, I thought I would talk about a topic that has been discussed for years. The question that has been echoing everywhere since the announcement of the Old Republic. Is Star Wars: The Old Republic the long-awaited wow killer? From what I have seen, most of the answers to this question have been balanced between statements like, "Oh absolutely," and "Not a chance in hell." But before I dive into the discussion, I want to tell you a story. A story about Vince McMahon. If you don't know who he is, Mr. McMahon is the chairman of World Wrestling Entertainment and has been for years. He was running the company in the time frame, which most people would consider to be one of the best eras of wrestling history. Let me take you back to the mid to late 90s, a time where professional wrestling was a very popular thing to watch. If you didn't watch it yourself, you would have known 5 others who did, or you at least knew the name The Rock or Stone Cold Steve Austin. The WWE wasn't the only professional wrestling organization out there at this time. They had an extremely rough competitor called World Championship Wrestling, or the WCW. There was no doubt that the WWE was ahead in ratings, but WCW started to take more and more wrestlers and fans away. As the years passed, and as the ratings became closer, the rivalry became epic. Each show would try to outdo the other, every week. And what made matters worse, was they both had a show on Monday night that actually overlapped each other. They were fighting for a lot. Fans, money, ratings. You name it. I remember some of the crazy things they did to try to stay on top. Vince McMahon got more involved by actually making himself a wrestler. He knew he could be a character that people would love to hate, and if they love to hate him, they will make sure to tune in each week, just to watch him get his ass beat. I also remember a Monday night where Mick Foley, who was a wrestler in the WWE, was wrestling the champion for a chance at the title. The storyline was drawn out for weeks preparing for it. WCW decided to take a bold move, and right before the match aired, they said on live TV, "Hey, don't worry about changing the channel, folks, we all know that Mick Foley is going to win anyway." The feud was very cutthroat, but unbelievable, which made both shows push harder and harder every week. Then, something happened. In March 2001, Vince McMahon bought out WCW from Time Warner. The epic Monday Night War was over. Sure, once it happened there was so much excitement and change. It really was an awesome moment. New storylines were created and branched off into some really entertaining stuff. But I would say, after a year or so after their main competition was defeated, WWE started to go downhill and start to just get boring. Without that sole competition, they could just put up anything, good or bad, because they had a monopoly on the professional wrestling industry. Whether or not you enjoy wrestling today, there is no denying that the WWE versus WCW days were just awesome. Now, why did I make you sit through a dumb off-topic conversation? Well, it will actually help us discuss our main topic. Will the Old Republic kill World of Warcraft? I don't think so. Let's face it. WoW has been insulted, spit on, abused, underestimated and hated. But never defeated. But, what I do think, is that we need to rephrase this question to, how will the Old Republic change World of Warcraft? I think that the Old Republic might actually make Warcraft better. Since WoW was released, it never had a true long-term competitor. In turn, all that seemed to do was make Blizzard relax a bit. Sure, there have been other MMOs out there, but most of them flopped or just could not shake the mammoth WoW. But with the amount of hype and momentum the Old Republic has right now, it's hard to believe that they won't make Blizzard wake up a bit. Like the WWE, WoW has been sitting high up on their throne for years, just reaping the benefits of being untouchable. But now, just like WCW did, the Old Republic will rise to the challenge and give WoW a run for their players and money. Once the tour is released and, assuming most of the players stay instead of going back, Blizzard will have to step up their game and be ready to compete. Some people are saying that Blizzard will just let Warcraft die, then push Titan to take the MMO throne back. Personally, I don't see that happening. WoW has such a solid base that if the developers wanted to, they could make it very tempting again. But I truly think that the die-hard Warcraft players will be happy in the next few years, because the Old Republic will spark that long-needed competitive drive to push WoW to actually think outside the box, instead of just re-releasing the same raids and boss encounters over again. I also think it will give a good divide for players. WoW has always been for the hardcore raiders. And I think with the storytelling aspect, and more things to keep you interested in the leveling process and your character, that TOR really is suited for more of the casual player. Hell, if you look at surveys done by many of the community sites, it shows that more casual players are going to play TOR than the hardcore. Yes, there will be raids, but TOR as a whole seems more casual. That is not a bad thing at all. The casual, but passionate, MMO players needed a nice home since WoW became too demanding with your time. Will TOR eventually turn out like WoW and cater to more of the hardcore? I hate to say it, but down the road, yeah, I think they will. But I think that's the nature of the MMO beast. In closing, let's recap. Will TOR kill WoW? No, WoW will live on. But hopefully, with TOR being such a highly anticipated game, they will help strengthen the MMO market as a whole. Whether or not you're going to play the Old Republic, everyone should be happy that a worthy competitor has arrived to help raise the standards for the industry. Competition fuels the fire of greatness. So, let's sit back, relax, and get ready for one hell of a show. Until next time, this is CR91. Signing off.